Okay, part 2, why I blasted my parents on TV. Now, unfortunately, this TV interview was only 6 minutes, so we obviously weren't able to get into all the ins and outs of my childhood. But if you've read any of my other work, or even just seen any of my other interviews, you'd see that my parents were very prejudiced against people of color, against Latinos, and that they talked very badly about Latinos growing up. So when I found out that I was adopted and Latino and multiracial and indigenous, how do you think that made me feel? If you had a kid with these giant elephant ears and the parents talked about people with elephant ears and they said, oh my God, how do they function like this? Oh, they're bad for our society. Oh, they should go back to their own elephant country. Would you think that that parent didn't make mistakes? That they weren't hurting their kid? My parents grew up in these tiny little towns where they didn't have any diversity. They didn't know any better. And unfortunately, that did not excuse their racism. That did not excuse the racism that I experienced. When I worked at my dad's restaurant, people would come in and treat me like dirt because I thought I was just the Latino help. When they found out my father was the owner and the chef, they completely changed and would then treat me with respect. And that's because they saw me for the color of my skin, the way I looked. When I talked to my parents about these experiences, they told me, just ignore it. You're not one of them. You're one of us. I'm not one of them. Because I was adopted into their family, I was the exception to who they thought were the problem and who they thought was less than. And that's why I speak out about this. This is why I go on TV and do these interviews. I'm a grown adult now. It still doesn't erase the harm that happened in my childhood and happened from these experiences. But there are so many children, so many adopted children of color in these white adoptive homes that have to experience similar things. That are told to ignore part of their identities because it makes their adoptive parents uncomfortable. Because, oh, you're biracial, but, you know, your black side doesn't matter. Or your Latino side doesn't matter. Your Indian side doesn't matter. Because you're one of us. You're a kid. Your big old elephant ears don't matter here. But, you know, the other ones with big old elephant ears, those, we gotta focus on those. They're the problem. My father has unfortunately passed away, but my mom has done the work. She's learned how to move past those mistakes, and we've healed. We've worked together, and we're sharing our story because we want to change this for other kids. I don't see a problem with that.